If we turn our backs and spit in his face, is God still gonna bless the USA?
What most Americans remember about the Rio Olympics is the scandal created by swimmer Ryan Lochte and his friends when they falsely claimed they'd been robbed. That one falsehood cost Lochte his major sponsors, his prime endorsements, millions of dollars of income, and his good name. But Ryan wasn't the first to swim in a pool of lies. Because of our sinful nature, lying comes to us as naturally as talking. When faced with damaging or embarrassing situations, we often invent lies on the spot, then fabricate additional ones to sustain the original. Before long, we're in the deep end of a pool of deception. Greetings, Patriots. I'm Perry Green, and this is God in America, where faith and freedom stand or fall together on the foundation of truth. Today, we explore the need to tell the truth as the second part of our Bad Habits of Good People series. Freedom collapses when truth is optional. Free people cannot remain free if honesty is treated as negotiable. Proverbs 12, verse 22 tells us plainly, lying lips are an abomination to the Lord, but those who deal truthfully are his delight. Notice Scripture makes no distinction between big lies and small lies. God doesn't classify the lies by size, he classifies them by nature, because lies distort reality and reality matters to God. Jesus called Satan the father of lies. Every lie, no matter how small, reflects his character. Lies don't just mislead others, they train our hearts to prefer convenience over integrity. Truth is not just a private virtue, it's a public necessity. When truth erodes, trust disappears. When trust disappears, freedom cannot function. In its place comes regulation, enforcement, and control. That's why tyrannical systems rely on propaganda, censorship, and deception. Lies are not accidental in oppression, they are essential. Truth, on the other hand, produces accountability, responsibility, and liberty. Thomas Jefferson understood this. He warned repeatedly about deception and its corrosive effects. Jefferson famously said, "Honesty is the first chapter in the book of wisdom." And elsewhere, he observed that falsehood cannot endure scrutiny forever. That truth eventually exposes it. Jefferson knew that deception is not just a moral failure, it's an intellectual and civic one. People trained to tolerate lies lose the ability to reason clearly and govern themselves wisely. Without honesty, liberty becomes unsustainable. In 1785, Jefferson wrote, "He who permits himself to tell a lie once finds it much easier to do it a second and third time, till at length it becomes habitual. He tells lies without attending to it and truths without the world's believing him. This falsehood of the tongue leads to that of the heart, and it is time that depraves all its good dispositions." We distrust our politicians because they always tell us what we want to hear on the campaign trail. However, once we elect them, their promises become betrayals. Jefferson lived in a different time when most of our political leaders were Bible-believing and feared God. Today, we live in an age characterized by misinformation, half-truths, and carefully crafted deception from the media, institutions, corporations, and the government. But the crisis doesn't begin out there, it starts with us. When Christians excuse dishonesty for convenience, when we repeat claims we haven't verified, when we justify deception on the grounds that it benefits our side, we participate in the erosion of truth that ultimately undermines freedom. God's people are called not to be clever, but to be faithful. Renouncing all lies, even the little white ones, is not a weakness, it's a strength. It restores trust in marriage, it stabilizes churches, it strengthens communities, and preserves liberty. Christians must be known as people whose word can be trusted even when telling the truth costs us comfort, reputation, or advantage. Jesus said, "Let your yes be yes and your no, no." Anything beyond that comes from deception. Lies promise ease but deliver bondage. Truth may cost, but it always frees. If we want freedom to survive in America, truth must prevail in us. Well, thank you for listening today. Until next time, let's keep the light of honoring the truth burning.